Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome. Today's topic is the 1982 Cleveland Indians MLB season. Once again, the Indians were playing at Cleveland Municipal Stadium, that beloved ballpark, and they'd been there for 50 years. You know, it was a real old ballpark. They had 11 years more to play there, and it was very basic. It's very different from Progressive Field. It was ticket prices were very low, and there weren't many things you could buy. You know, there was food, not the variety of food items, but it was just a basic ballpark, and I really love it. Some people, complain about it now, but to me, it was a wonder. It was a magical place, Cleveland Municipal Stadium. In 1982, the Indians finished 78 and 84 in sixth and last place, 17 games out of first. So it was not a great year. It wasn't a terrible year. It's not like we were 62 and 100. We were 6 games under 500, so below average, but not terrible, not great. New coach on the team was Johnny Gorel from Cumberland, Rhode Island. I believe he was a batting coach and a good guy. He was a popular coach. Tom McCraw was back, former Cleveland Indian from Malvern, Arkansas. Mel Queen was the new pitching coach from Johnson City, New York. And a new TV broadcaster was Bob Feller on 10 TV. And of course, Bob Feller is considered the greatest Cleveland Indian of all time. They called him Rapid Robert because of his fastball. He was a pitcher from Van Meter, Iowa. And he's in the Hall of Fame, won 266 games as a pitcher. And so he didn't win 300. He would have won 300, but he lost 4 years because of service during the Second World War. And the first statue at Progressive Field was put up for him and honoring him. He died in 2010 at age 92. I actually had dinner with Bob Feller and my father and Feller's friend about 2001 at Jacobs Field. There was a fantasy day, and guys, we got to have batting practice and go out in the field and catch fly balls. And then we had this dinner, and my dad and I were the last guy in the room. And Feller was sitting there with his friend, and there were a couple chairs. We asked if we could join him. Had a real nice time, real good guy. Everybody loved Bob Feller. He was worked for the Indians for many years. He was, the face of the Indians for a very long time. Dave Garcia, again, was the manager of the Indians that year, and he resigned at the end of the season. This was his last year in Cleveland. He was kind of frustrated. He was an older guy, didn't have much talent himself. He was frustrated with some of the talented players on the team who he felt weren't trying hard enough. He was forever trying to get Rick Manning to run out ground balls. Manning had speed, and it really puts pressure on the defense, when you run hard on a ground ball. But there's this. Players are trying to get a hit, and they're disappointed when they hit a ball right to the shortstop, and they're kind of disappointed, and very often they don't run balls hard, and this is a constant conflict between managers and players. And also when a guy thinks he's hit a home run, he's jogging down to first, and it hits the top of the wall, and he ends up with a single or gets thrown out at second when he finally starts running fast. In the field, Miguel Delaney was in left field. He hit .235, 3 home runs, 25 RBIs, 33 stolen bases. So he was in decline. He had started off at a 340 hitter, but his career was he was struggling as a hitter, but he still had a lot of speed. Rick Manning was in center. His average was up. He hit .270, 8 home runs, 44 RBIs, and 12 stolen bases in 152 games. Yeah, he was a very exciting center fielder. He really covered a lot of ground and took a lot of base hits away from other opposing players. Right field, we had Von Hayes, who hit .250, 14 home runs, 82 RBIs, that's a lot, and 32 stolen bases. Hayes was from Stockton, California. Chris Berman on ESPN referred to him as Von Purple Hayes. That Chris Berman was a real character. Von Purple Hayes, a reference to the Jimi Hendrix song. So Hayes had a real good year. Yeah, he had power and speed. Toby Harrah was at third base. He hit 304, 25 home runs, 78 RBIs, 17 stolen bases, and he played in every game. Played in 162 games. So that was really, really good. And he made the All-Star team and was Man of the Year. He shared that award. So another fine year for Toby Harrah. At shortstop, we had Mike Fischlin, who hit 268, 0 home runs, 29 RBIs, and 9 stolen bases. So his average was pretty good. Average was up. At second base, Jack Perconte hit 237 with 0 home runs and 15 RBIs, 9 stolen bases. We picked him up in a trade with the Dodgers for Jorge Orta. Mike Hargrove was at first, hit 271, 4 home runs, 65 RBIs, played in 160 games. So another good year for Mike Hargrove. His average was down a little bit. Yeah, he had an incredible career. Played for the Rangers, Padres, and Indians, and he managed the Indians, Orioles, and Mariners, and he's now currently working as an advisor for the Cleveland Indians. So good old Mike Hargrove, good guy. Andre Thornton was the DH. He hit 273 with 32 home runs and 116 RBIs. That is a lot. He played in 161 games, so he had a really, really good year. And he was also Man of the Year. He shared that award with Toby Harrah. Also made the All-Star team, and they used to call him Thunder because of his bat. And Thornton was from Tuskegee, Alabama. Really good year for Andre Thornton. Some of the bench players: Chris Bando hit 212 in 66 games. He was a spare catcher, and who they put out, to give our catcher a break, because catching is such a tough position. Now I don't have the catcher position listed. I must have forgotten about it. Carmen Castillo, or Alan Bannister hit 267, 4 home runs, 41 games, and 18 stolen bases in 101 games. So Bannister had a good year. Carmen Castillo batted .208 with 2 home runs, 11 RBIs, and 47 games. I remember being at a game and going down near the field, and man, Castillo had an upper body like you wouldn't believe. A real muscle man, real strong fella. And I thought, man, this guy's going to really be good. Very tragically, he was from the Dominican Republic, and he died in 2015 of a heart trouble. He was only 57. Died in Santo Domingo, in the capital city. Joe Charbonneau hit 214, two home runs, 9 RBIs in 22 games. This was his last year with the Indians because his production just wasn't good enough. And the following year, he was in the minor leagues for a couple months, and then the Indians let him go. So that was the end of Joe Charbonneau. But he's still a very beloved player for his magical 1980 season, Super Joe Charbonneau. Rodney Craig was a bench player, hit 231 with 49 in 49 games. And Rodney Craig died in 2013 at age 55. He was stabbed to death in a homeless encampment in Los Angeles, California. Very, 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 very sad. Rodney Craig. Jerry Dybzinski hit 231, 0 home runs, 22 RBIs in 80 games, and he won the Gordon Cobbledick Golden Tomahawk Award, which is given to an award by the players who they think deserves recognition. Bake McBride hit 365 in 27 games, and he had an eye infection, and he was out for the rest of the year. Very strange. He had this really high average, 365. And we got him from the Phillies for Sid Manji, and they called him Shake and Bake. He won a World Series with the Phillies in 1980. And this eye infection was related to his use of contact lenses, so that was a real shame, that he had that high average but couldn't play. Larry Milbourne, another, I think it was spare infielder, hit 275 in 2 home runs, 25 RBIs in 82 games. Bill Naharadny hit 223, 4 home runs, 18 RBIs in 39 games. Carl Pagel hit 167 in 23 games. Brother of Mike Pagel, played for the Browns. Now, among the pitchers, Len Barker was 15 and 11 with a 3.90 ERA, had 10 complete games. That's good. You know, he gave the bullpen a break when he'd be out starting a game. Barker was from Fort Knox, Kentucky. Large Lenny Barker, who had thrown the perfect game the year before. Rick Sutcliffe was 14 and 8 with a 2.96 ERA. And we picked him up from the Dodgers in the George Orta deal. And Sutcliffe was from Independence, Missouri. He broadcasts baseball games on ESPN on television. So you probably see him a lot. Dan Spillner went 12 and 10 and had 21 saves and a 2.49 ERA. Another strange year. This year he was a reliever. He was our bullpen guy, our closer. And he had all those decisions, 12 and 10. Larry Sorensen went 10 and 15 with a 5.61 ERA. We picked him up in the Bo Diaz deal with the Cardinals. Yeah, not a great year for Sorensen. He only had one R in his name, Larry. Kind of unusual. And Rick Waits had a very, very tough year. Went 2 and 13 with a 5.40 ERA. And he had a knee injury that he was struggling with. John Denny had a very tough year. Went 6 and 11 with a 5.01 ERA. He was also hurt, and that affected his pitching. Denny was from Prescott, Arizona. Other fellows in the bullpen, Ed Whitson went 4 and 2 with a 3.26 ERA. We picked him up in a trade from the Giants for Dwayne Kuiper. So that was the Dwayne Kuiper era had ended. Kuiper's still doing Giants games on TV. Bud Anderson was 3 and 4 with a 3.35 ERA. Bert Blyleven had a tough year. He was 2 and 2 with a 4.87 ERA. He was only pitched 4 games, and he was hurt out most of the year with injuries. And he made the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2011. John Bonnet had no decisions and a 6.94 ERA in 3 games. Tom Brennan went 4 and 2 with a 4.27 ERA and had 2 saves, so he helped in the bullpen. Ed Glynn went 5 and 2 with a 4.17 ERA and 4 saves, and Neil Heaton went 0 and 2 with a 5.23 ERA and 4 starts. Heaton became one of our best starters in the following years. And finally, Jerry Reed went 1 and 1 with a 3.45 ERA. We picked him up from the Phillies. The Tribe traded John Denny in September, and then the following year he won the Cy Young Award with the Phillies. So the 1982 Tribe, so that was their year, a little bit under 500, but they gave us some memories. You know, it's not all about wins and losses. It's about the game. It's such a beautiful game. Fly balls, home runs, stolen bases, double plays. I'd like to see them steal home more. That's an exciting play. So God bless all the fellows who played for the Cleveland Indians in 1982, and the staff, all the employees and coaches and trainers and all the people in the front office who worked for the Indians, and the fans from 1982 who rooted for the old hometown team. Captains of the Cuyahoga, lovers of Lake Erie, Terminal Tower Power, Tribe Rules, Cleveland City of Champions. It's been 70 years since 1948. It's our year. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.